This is the HTC One M9, the latest version of HTC's flagship smartphone line. Much like its well-loved predecessor, the M8, the M9 is a solid phone crafted from a few big pieces of aluminum. It looks much the same as the last one, and retains most of the same features. But that may not be enough to stand out. Still, the M9 has a lot going for it. The brushed aluminum makes it not just one of the best-looking phones on the market, but also one of the toughest. It absorbs most falls and drops easily, emerging from a month of use scar-free. In case you do break it, HTC will give you a new one, no questions asked for the first year you have the phone. Assuming you don't destroy it, you'll be looking at a 5-inch 1080p LCD screen. It's mostly the same as last year's offering with some reworked colors. There are better ones out there, but no one could call this one bad. Also carried over is the dual Dolby speakers on the front face. Most smartphones have their speakers on the bottom lips or back, which isn't so great for audio balance and output. These, on the other hand, are probably still the best sound output you're going to get from a phone. The M9 is among the giants in performance as well. It's using a Snapdragon 810 chip and has 3 gigs of RAM, so there's plenty of grunt for heavy lifting. HTC's Sense UI runs beautifully smooth with that much power, and the Blink Feed curation service is as helpful as ever. It's all backed up by a large library of customizable themes within the HTC ecosystem. It's a nice option for those who like switching things up often, but don't want to switch launchers or root their phone. Both camera setups on the M9 are improved, up to a 20 megapixel rear lens and 4 megapixel front. Photos are, for the most part, decently balanced, though full auto shots tend to be a little underexposed. The rear camera can also shoot 120 frames per second at 720p. But all of these things are the same things that were said about the last HTC One. HTC has been catching heat for the M9, and it's easy to understand why. Aside from a few incremental bumps in the rear lens, the M9 isn't really much different from the M8. There's still a lot of good features, but there's nothing different or groundbreaking. In a year with radical redesigns like the Samsung Galaxy S6 and the iPhone 6, the HTC One M9 is a very tame update. They haven't even added wireless charging. One thing HTC did change is the power button. Last year's model had it on the top of the body like an older iPhone, which isn't a great location. Now it's on the center of the right edge next to the individual volume buttons, which feel the same as the power button. It's something you get used to, but it doesn't really make that much sense. There's nothing really new or exciting for the M9 to bank on, aside from HTC's uh-oh protection. Anything it can do, the other big players match or beat it. Now, by no means is the M9 a bad phone, it's still a solid choice. But while other phones are trying new things, the One is business as usual.